You're broadcasting and
notifications. Hey,
8
there's a thing on
hours.
my phone. It's all like, hello.
Hey, we're going live. Hey, guys.
Look at my notifications. They're all like, whoa. And then I press the button. It's all like, whoa.
We need to make sure that the video is coming through on the other side.
Yeah.
Oh, it is, but it's not on there.
It's all like, whoa.
Okay, here we go.
Here we go, yo. Here we go, yo.
You need to mute that computer. There's going to be such an echo.
I did.
Okay, good talk. Okay, so hey guys, welcome to our first live stream.
That's Autumn.
Yep, I'm Autumn. That's Jeremy. And here's a little behind the scenes of what we got going on. We actually have two computers going on.
So I can look at the chat and see what's going on. And look, this guy right here, Kung Fu Guy Jeremy, he said first. I wonder who that guy is. He sounds like a crazy, awesome person.
Crazy, for sure.
Yeah.
So anyways, welcome to our channel. This is the parenting program. Today we wanted to talk about what an extracurricular is worth. And, you know, this kind of goes into extracurriculars with your kids as well as yourselves. And so there's three major points that we want to hit on in this live stream. If you have any questions or comments or concerns, please put them in the chat box. If you are not catching this stream live, please make sure that you put your comments down below and we can answer any questions or, I don't know, continue the conversation from there.
Absolutely. And if you have a different, like something around this topic or just something in general about parenting, business, marketing, whatever.
Yeah.
Those intersections, you can put those in the chats or comments as well, because that's what we're here for.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's go ahead and dive right in. So typically what happens is when your kid is like 3, shockingly, most parents actually start looking for extracurricular activities for your children to do, whether it's a mommy and me class, whether it's a daycare kind of class, or if it's ballet, soccer, chess club,
Swimming.
I don't know, whatever it is. That is what we're kind of going to be talking about today. And so really, what is an extracurricular worth? The first point that we want to hit on is time versus money. So a lot of parents, when they think about extracurricular activities for their children, no matter how early or how old, they have a specific budget in mind, which is great, but it also is going to be dependent on the level of activity that you're going to get.
Mm-hmm.
So obviously a $30 or $40 class isn't going to be as
in-depth,
robust,
yes, yeah.
As robust as maybe a class that's $150 a month.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's really kind of also thinking about how much time you want to dedicate to that specific item as well. So there's always that balance between time and how much money you are going to spend.
Right. And also when you factor in time, you want to be considering, you know, am I dropping my kid off and then leaving? Can I do the activity with them? Do I need to be on premises in case there's an emergency or an accident? Because sometimes that'll affect some activities are a little longer. You can go run errands and they're okay with that. The program wants you to be present and be involved and be engaged. So you want to kind of know that ahead of time. Also, when you look at the money factor, there's the money for the activity, but then what about like incidentals, like equipment, transportation? If there's like activities like soccer, we got to go to competition. Oh, so we got to be somewhere sometime. So food, snacks, swim teams. If you're on the team, you know, you have to volunteer time and energy for the swim meets and stuff like that. So those are the other things you want to think about when it comes to time and money. It's not just the activity as a silo, but kind of go around the activity a little bit as well.
Yeah, so definitely a cost versus like time is something that like I just feel like when people sign up their kids for extracurricular activities, they're not really asking these questions. Like Jeremy said, do you have to volunteer time? Can you just drop them off? How long is the activity? You know, it's just all those questions that, I don't know, you're like, oh, $40 participation fee, no big deal. And lo and behold, the activity is actually like $400 at the end of the season. So
right. You know, gymnastics, you got to buy uniforms, and how much is the uniform?
It's fun times.
Adventures.
So the second thing that we want to really hit on is really not so much what is your outcome or your child's outcome, but what is the benefit from this activity plus the secondary benefit from this activity.
Right. So you have the primary benefit of the activity is what you're actually learning. Like, you know, are my kids learning how to play soccer? Great. They're learning the rules of the game. They're learning about soccer, maybe a little bit of the history, but here's the roles, the different positions, different places. So there's the primary benefit of the activity is learning how to do the thing. Right? I once talked with a coach from Barbados, and he was like, my job is to teach the kids soccer, not teach them how to pay attention. So that's going to be a certain type of parenting strategy, or not parenting strategy, coaching strategy. And it's going to create a different relationship between him and his players, because his main focus is only on the primary benefit, and he doesn't see that it's his job to do the secondary benefit. And because he came from Barbados, that may be a cultural thing, but that's something for you to consider when you're talking to the staff and the team. What are the primary benefits, but then what are the secondary benefits? And the secondary benefits are, sportsmanship, good attitude, how to win with grace, how to lose with character, those sorts of life skills that you want to get for your kids that show up in some way, shape, or form inside the activity. And for a lot of youth sports specifically, but a lot of youth activities, how specifically do they get those results? It's helpful to see if they have that versus, well,
right. And then you also have to realize that a lot of the coaching staff, whether it's a school activity, a community activity, or sometimes even with a private company, a lot of their staff is actually volunteer. So a good chunk of the things that they're supposed to teach you, or I guess like you said with soccer, they'll just teach you how to play soccer. They haven't really had the additional training for, improving leadership skills, teamwork skills, goal setting, all that other stuff, I guess. And so really it's kind of their job to essentially get them through the practice, to get them through the games. They're not quite focused on maybe some of the outcomes that you want your children to have from this activity.
Yeah, kind of like, my background is the martial arts. And so when the Karate Kid came out, you had all these parents looking for martial art masters that were like Miyagi, and they're doing all of these life skill character things in addition to the physical skills of how to fight and defend yourself. And the martial art industry was not prepared for that. There were a lot of people that knew how to teach really hard classes and make really strong people, but a lot of the methodology was abusive for adults, but it was even worse for kids. And that, thankfully, that was 20 plus years ago. That has massively changed now. And there's a lot more knowledge about the intangible, the soft skills, right? Mm-hmm. At work, mental intelligence will get you hired, but social intelligence will get you promoted. And so you can be right and have the people skills of a brick, and you're not going to be hanging out for very long.
Right. And so I think, are you ready to move on to our third topic?
Well, yeah, I just want to make sure, if you've got a question about the primary versus secondary a little bit more, feel free to ask, make sure it's in the comments so we can kind of expand that a little bit more.
Yeah, and I feel like we're using soccer as just an example.
I played soccer as a kid.
Yeah, our kids play soccer, so it's no dig against soccer or anything like that. No. It's a great example, and I feel like every grown-up kind of starts with either soccer or dance.
Well, soccer is like a boy-girl thing,
Right.
All. Not boy, not girl, all. Great reference.
The game of soccer is to all.
It's all. Moana.
Moana, yeah. Evie's been obsessed with that movie, which is why, of course,
we've only watched it 30 times in the last 7 days.
Yeah.
No exaggeration.
Okay, so the next and third thing that we really want to talk to you guys about is specifically the life impact that these extracurriculars have with your children as well as with yourselves.
Yeah, absolutely. I can't tell you the number of times I've worked with families and parents, and the parents are stressed because we're doing it. We've got to be here and there, and we've got this other thing because the kids are doing violin and cello and underwater basket weaving and swimming and horseback riding and polo. And then there's piano, and then there's math, and then there's this. And when do you have time to be a family and just be? Right? So sometimes when you are involved in an activity, you want to be evaluating where are we going to be when, what's our schedule, how much gas, how much free time. There's a program here in town for football, and when you're in football, you practice for 2 hours a day, 5 days a week, games on the weekends, and it's all mandatory, and this is from 9 years old on up. So your kids literally have no life for 3 to 4 months out of the year. Are you okay with that? Plus conditioning in the off season. The thing to put in a context, though, is they have had several players go professional out of this program. So parents are willing to put up with it, but is that what you want for your kids, where they're just a very narrow band and they know how to do this one thing, versus you want them to have lots of different experiences? And be careful of, really, it's called a tertiary benefit or the third benefit, living through your kids, right? I didn't get to do these things when I was young, and now we've got more money and we've got more opportunities, so I want them to do everything I missed out on. Sometimes it's okay to be a little bit hungry and to miss out on a couple of things and not do everything you want before you're 12, because what do you have to look forward to when you grow up? if you've already done everything you'd possibly imagine.
Yeah, and so in our previous video, the one like before this, so if you go look at the timestamps, we talked about living vicariously through your children, and then yeah, I think Jeremy had a really good point with, you know, like the life that you're creating for you, for your children, is it sustainable? You know, like a goal has to be both attainable and sustainable if it's really what you want. Another thing is also, I feel like sometimes parents who do live vicariously through their children, or maybe they don't, but they think somehow that their kid's poop doesn't smell. It more specifically goes into, you know, kind of realizing maybe your kid isn't the best person on the team. Maybe they're not going to be that person that makes the cut. So maybe pushing them into an activity that is highly competitive, especially if you're talking about like an elite soccer team or a super, you know, competitive
gymnastics, cheer,
like feeder program for a college or whatever the case may be. You know, you really have to realize and kind of see and judge your own kid's aptitude, you know. And then also there's going to be a point where you decide, is this a fun activity, or if this is an activity that we're going to compete in, that we're thinking about college scholarships, that we're thinking is a lifelong destiny, versus, you know, we just signed up for this extracurricular just to have some fun.
Right. So
Jeremy's got a really good example of this.
Well,
the swim story.
My swim story?
Your swim story. Oh
yeah. So put a frame around this real quick, right? Do a plus sign. Everyone say reason.
Reason.
Right. Two lives just intersect reason. Next, you're gonna do like, you can't really do it with your fingers, but do like bent fingers. Everyone say season.
Season.
And usually I would do like two.
Like
I do two
right?
parentheticals, but I can't bend my fingers backwards through the parentheticals. I'm not that good. So like this, only like that. Right. And everyone say season.
Season.
And that means they come together for a while, then they separate back out, and then everyone say lifetime.
Lifetime.
Right. And not everything you do, not everyone you meet is going to be a lifetime experience, or maybe it's just for a season. And so the swimming story is this, and I'm actually going to be a coach I'm an assistant coach for a swim team this summer, which is going to be awesome.
Whoop, whoop.
So I swam from when I was 8 to when I was 13. And for me, the activity was to get in the water and splash around and have fun. And the frame for this was my mom and my dad had my brother and I get involved in two sports, golf and swimming. And I decided I wanted to swim, and he decided he wanted to golf, and I quit golf and he quit swimming. And then, but my main takeaway from swimming was just have fun. And my parents, they wanted all those secondary benefits, you know, work hard, have a work ethic, don't leave the team down, you know, be your best, all this kind of extra stuff that I just was not on. I didn't sign up for that. I just wanted to splash in the water.
Yeah.
And so over the course of 5 years, I won 5 participation trophies because, damn it, I showed up and I got in the water. I one time got an A time, and I was like really, really close to a double A time. And it's like A, double A, triple A, Olympic, just so you know. So I was kind of trending slightly, but I didn't care. I mean, it wasn't my thing. And so my parents and I ended up battling over swimming because they wanted me to do my best, and I wanted to just like swim and have fun. And I didn't know how to articulate that at 11, 12 years old very well. So it just became these battles. And eventually when I was 13, I quit swimming. I kind of quit the family, and I was there and I would grunt at them, but emotionally I was very, very distant and very disconnected because of the battles over what Autumn talked about is two different expectations. Not that they were wrong for wanting me to be my best and do my best, but that activity wasn't the best vehicle for me. And then I started martial arts when I was 20, and I've been doing that now for 22 years. So what if I had started that when I was 13 or started that when I was 8? It may not have mattered because the program I got involved in at 8 was right around that Karate Kid life skills thing. So it may not have even mattered back then either. So.
Yeah. So obviously, like, you know, the swim thing was a season, karate's a lifetime.
Yeah, it has been. Martial arts, kung fu.
Yeah, and the thing is also, even though I feel like we're preaching to you guys a little bit, maybe, I don't know, preach to the choir, but I think that you guys should know that we are not perfect in this whole parenting experience either. A great example of this, and actually this is still kind of not a problem, but the reality of the situation is our son wanted to do dance, so we signed him up for ballet classes because, you know, ballet helps with like soccer and extra like coordination and all this other stuff. And then like probably like 2 months in, because this is like a full in-depth program, it goes like from September to May, and like maybe probably like 3 or 4 months in, Jamie's just like, I really wanted to do breakdancing. So ballet's not fun. Like, it's not.
It's interesting.
Right.
And he's a good sport about it.
Right, he is. We don't have to fight, about going to ballet class or rehearsals or anything like that. But I mean, there is something to be said about, when your kid's like, oh, I want to do this one thing, but maybe they just don't know how to tell you exactly what they want from that experience. There is another point where you as the parent kind of have to decide their own experience. So for example, Jamie's in ballet. Since it is a whole year-long thing, he's going to stay until the end, and then over the summer maybe we transition to a different style of dance like breakdancing.
Right.
But since we committed to this full year-long program, we're going to stay for the full year.
Right. You follow through on your commitments is a life skill we want for him, and so we have to maintain that. Even if it's a struggle or a challenge or difficult, we have to reframe that experience and say, okay, we understand, but we committed. We said we made a promise we were going to do this, and we have to keep our promises because that's who we are as a family. And he understands that. So it's kind of, okay, how can I find the good in the experience and maintain a positive attitude? So we can help him, even if ballet doesn't have a character development structure. They're teaching the physical skills of a dance form that's 400 plus years old. That's cool. But they don't have that. Well, how do we teach those life skills? Well, we can step in as parents and reaffirm our values in this activity. Now, if we got into loggerheads with the coaches and, they were like, or the I guess coaches, but they were like, yeah, the instructors, if they were like, Jamie has a bad attitude and he needs to fix it or he's going to blah, 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 we would have a whole different energy about the thing. But, everyone's been pretty chill and pretty cool. So that's important, is evaluating that, who all's involved.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
So we want to give you just a couple of things to consider as you look at extracurriculars and how to evaluate them and what is it worth to you? Because really the worth is you get your kids active, you get them involved, they're making new friendships, they're expanding their skill sets, they're learning how to interact and build rapport and listen to other authority figures aside from yourself. So there's a lot of really deep, long life impact that you can make with a good extracurricular activity. A lifelong love of, even though I swam 8 to 13, had some challenge, I love swimming, and Evie's a freaking water baby. Every chance she gets, she'll wake up and bring us her swim diapers because she wants to go swim.
Yeah, she's like, bathing suit, let's go.
And she loves to swim, and I love to get in the water. I can teach my kids how to swim, and I can help them drown proof, and those sorts of skills are really helpful to have. And I've 30 years plus since I started swimming.
Getting old. You've been swimming longer than I've been alive.
I know. There's a bunch of things I've been doing longer than you've been alive.
That's true. Okay, well, we hope that you guys enjoyed this live stream. I think that we're going to actually probably do live streams every Friday. So even if you're catching the recording on this and you see that, hey, maybe it's Thursday and we might go live next Friday, whatever the case may be, make sure that you hit the red subscribe button and more specifically hit the bell for notifications. That way you know whenever we go live. It might not be every Friday, maybe every other Friday, whatever the case may be, but we just want to make sure that we're available to answer your questions.
And just so you know, if on YouTube you go to the About section, we have our About section set up, and there's a button, and it says send a message, and you can contact us that way and send messages. Not everybody knows that Yahoo actually has a message, or I mean...
This is not Yahoo.
Sorry, big part. YouTube, getting older, I told you. YouTube has a messaging capability inside, but you must have the About page set up for people to send you messages.
Yes, so you guys can actually send us a message on our YouTube channel.
So if you want to privately ask something and not have your comment available for the entire world to see...
then that's how you would do it.
Was that creepy?
Yeah, let's not do that. Okay, well, we hope that you guys make a fantastic day. Like I said, go ahead and hit that red subscribe button. If you enjoyed all the things that we talked about, you can hit the like button, the bell button for notifications, and we will see you next time. I think we got one more sssveda video to do.
Hold on one second. Today is the 28th. We have 2 more to go. Okay. We've made the entire month.
We have.
Dun, dun, dun.
We have made 28 videos.
Bam.
And this is the 28th.
It is, because this is cheating, I think. And you make it an outstanding day. We will see you when we see you. And as always, game on, yo.
Bye.